The Lillian
Here we go. It's time to dance, Peggy.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Well, hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, the purpose of the show is to provide a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, today we're going to talk about a topic that is very personal to me. Many people that I love, I have seen go through this, and because I want to live the life of my dreams, to go through this would be somewhat of a nightmare. Maybe perhaps for not the person who's going through it, but also the people around, possibly more so for the people around you. And so if you have any questions for today's show, and also we're going to be giving away a book, you may want to consider putting this in your phones, 407-373-5959. That's 407-373-5959. So today is Alzheimer's or World Alzheimer's Day. And this is a special edition of Thriving Thursday, because we have medical journalist Peggy Sarlin with us to share what doctors are doing to reverse Alzheimer's and dementia and memory loss. We are also going to learn how we can register for a free 12-day online video series, Awakening from Alzheimer's. And it starts today, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that as well. So today we're going to learn a new truth about Alzheimer's and what we've been told about reversing it, how to deal with it. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that Peggy Sarlin is here to do just that. Welcome, Peggy, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Lily, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being here and having the opportunity to share good news on this very tragic topic with you.
It is. It is a tragic topic that needs not to happen.
Well, the good news is that we're at an age now of remarkable breakthroughs, and I want to share with you that good news. It's not hopeless at all. We're living at the dawn of the age of treatable Alzheimer's.
That's wonderful to hear. So share a little bit about your background and what led to your passion about Alzheimer's.
Well, I am a journalist. I'm a writer, freelance writer. I write all kinds of things, and I'm very interested in health. And my publisher, Lee Euler, his mother, she passed away from Alzheimer's, and so he knew that the whole medical outlook was just hopeless. That's what there's nothing you can do. There are some prescription drugs that are approved by the FDA, but even the strongest proponents of those drugs will tell you they don't do a whole lot, and what they do, they don't do for long. So there is nobody who is satisfied with the scope of the currently available prescription drugs. And so he asked me, can you look into this? And is there anything that we can do to help people. So I began researching it, and I was actually astounded by how much I found. I was utterly amazed that there was so much that could be done. Not a magic pill. And let me just talk about that. Right now, there have been over 200 failed trials of pharmaceutical drugs at a cost of $84 billion.
Billion?
$84 billion.
Wow.
And nothing has panned out. Zero so far. So I'm not talking about taking a magic pill. I'm talking about other remedies and other approaches and other lifestyle adjustments that can make really remarkable changes. So I wrote a book called Awakening from Alzheimer's that was published in 2012 and really had a remarkable impact because it was the only book telling these stories. Last year, 2016, Lee, the publisher, asked me to go around on video and interview the world's top experts on this, in-depth interviews, which I did. And then I used that information to update the book. And that series of in-depth interviews with the world experts is now available for you to watch for free. If you sign up for it, the first one is today.
Awesome. And that is exactly, my listening friends, I'm all choked up because this is exactly what we talk about on the Lillian McDermott radio show. We talk about how to eat, live the way we want to so that it is going to make us healthier as we get older. Dr. Joel Fuhrman was on the show yesterday talking about fast food genocide. And today we're going to talk a little bit more. If you have someone you love or dealing with it yourself, how there is hope with Alzheimer's. So we're going to continue our conversation with Peggy Sarlin when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you.
Friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show, where we always learn and grow with one another. And today's topic is very dear to my heart, and I made a commitment that we're going to learn a little bit more about this condition, disease, whatever you want to call it. But there's so many things we don't know about Alzheimer's. And I know this is also personal for you, Peggy. Peggy wrote a book called Awakening from Alzheimer's, and you will get a free copy of this book as well if you are the third caller today, 407-373-5959. Awakening from Alzheimer's, and it's how America's most innovative doctors are reversing Alzheimer's, dementia, and memory loss. Okay, so this has been a journey for you, Peggy, and I'm grateful for this book. I devoured it last night as I was preparing for today's show. So share a little bit about how you came to, you talked about your friend, but how is this personal for you? Why would you take the time to do this when you could write just about anything?
Well, I started out, as I mentioned, because my publisher asked me to look into it because his mother had it, and I rebel against the idea that things are hopeless. The paradigm was that this was hopeless. And so I share with you a passion to say, no, there's got to be another way. There's got to be information that isn't widely known that we can help people deal with. Unfortunately, in my own life, it became more relevant because it's coming up on 5 years now. My husband unfortunately had a massive stroke, which is a brain dysfunction.
Sure.
So that has completely transformed my life. And so the whole issue of what goes on in the brain and how that impacts the person and their family it couldn't be more deeply personal to me. And much of what I've learned, I try to apply to my husband and to help him, because there are many broader applications to what I write about and what the doctors tell me, just for general brain health. And I should say, that certainly includes keeping your own brain healthy as you get
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's the thing. As I was researching this and looking at the research, and we've had Dr. Perlmutter on the show, we've had Dr. Dr. Perlmutter is one of the doctors we have in common, but Dr. Joel Fuhrman is always talking about how we can grow old without all these conditions. We do not need to grow old and grow sick by the age of 60. And so, and how important nutrition is, but we really haven't dove into, or we haven't, I guess, I don't know, for lack of a better word, just gotten into Alzheimer's and dementia to the point where I was looking at, there's different kinds of dementia, there's different things that we can do to prevent, that there's different things that we can do to reverse. So let's talk about, first of all, what is dementia, and is there a difference between dementia and Alzheimer's in your research that you've done?
Yes. Okay. That's a very good question. And very important to know. And I just want people to know that they can sign. Let's just get that information right now. You can sign up and watch this whole series for free. It's called Awakening from Alzheimer's. And if you go to event, let me just look this up here.
No, if they just go to awakeningfromalzheimers.com, and then the top little picture, it says, "Where's Alzheimer Meets Hope?" You can click on that and it'll take you to the events page that you're looking for.
And you can sign up and get everything for free. So let me answer your question. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. There are several types. It's the most common type by far. The next most common type is vascular dementia, which has to do with poor blood flow into the brain area. And then there's other types as well that are not as common, like Lewy's body and so forth. But it turns out one of the doctors, I'd like to start out by talking about Dr. Dale Bredesen, who's one of the very eminent doctors who I interviewed. And Dr. Bredesen is kind of leading the way in terms of really looking systematically at what incites Alzheimer's and what do you do to reverse it? You can't really know how to reverse it unless you know what's causing it.
Sure.
And he, in fact, has published a book called The End of Alzheimer's, which came out 2 weeks ago and went right to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. So if you are interested in that topic, I have a full-length interview with him, which you can watch for free.
In fact, you have about 9 doctors that are top in the industry researching Alzheimer's as well, right?
I have 14 doctors.
I'm sorry, 14.
14. There's 12 days with 14 doctors, and these are really the preeminent people, and they all come from different aspects. But let's get back to Dr. Bredesen, because I think he's really the key figure right now. And what he has done is he has, first of all, identified that Alzheimer's is not one disease. It's a very complex disease, extremely complex. And he has subdivided it into 3 different types. And those 3 different types manifest at different ages. They manifest with different symptoms, and you treat them differently, although there may certainly be crossover. There frequently is. So he uses his own terminology. There's type 1, type 2, and type 3. Type 1 is primarily inflammatory. Type 2 he calls atrophic. It has to do with the brain lacking certain essential nutrients. And type 3 is toxic. And I just want to mention to all your listeners in Florida, I hate to bring you more bad news from what you've been experiencing with a hurricane, but moisture precipitates mold, and mold precipitates Alzheimer's in many people, and that is type 3 Alzheimer's.
You know, it's interesting as I was looking at the information. One of the things that they're calling, some of the doctors are calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes.
Yes, that's increasingly understood. And going back to, now we get into slight confusion of terminologies with types. Dr. Bredesen would call that type 1.5 to use terminology. But let's not get hung up in that. There's no question that diabetes is a huge precipitating factor. Just to give you some statistics, by some studies, if you have diabetes, you are 65% more at risk of getting Alzheimer's. And furthermore, by other studies of Alzheimer's patients, looking at them, 80% of them had diabetic responses in their body. They were either pre-diabetic or diabetic. So the numbers are frightening, and we now have 50% of American adults are on the diabetes spectrum. They're either pre-diabetic or diabetic. 50% of American adults, they're all at enormously high risk of getting Alzheimer's.
You know, it's interesting. We had a show with Dr. Neil Barnard. I don't know if you know Dr. Neil Barnard, but it was the connection between diabetes and Alzheimer's or dementia. And he was saying that nutrition plays a key role. And if somebody has getting a little forgetful, and that they need to really pay attention to what they're eating. So let's talk a little bit about nutrition, because we're going to wait till later to talk about the pharmaceutical industry and how they're trying to have us take a pill instead of looking at what the causes could be. So Dr. Neil Barnard said that when people change, like the link between nutrition and sugar and the fats that we're consuming, the food, that is right there is a better response for treating Alzheimer's or dementia, the way we eat, than taking a pill, because they've done blind studies where people who did nothing, that didn't take the pill, just did nothing, their dementia remained the same as if they would have taken the pill. So what have you learned in interviewing all these doctors about nutrition?
Well, nutrition is absolutely key. And it's no matter what is bringing on your cognitive problems, you must eat properly in order to reverse them. It's essential. And it's essential for all of us. That's universal. So anybody listening, if you want to be healthy, if you want to keep your brain in good shape as you get older, and who doesn't, you must eat properly. And so let me just give you the basic outline of what I've learned, because it's so contrary to the conventional wisdom.
Sure.
Let me just zero in. You need healthy fats. You need lots and lots of healthy fats, and you already know that you don't need sugar. So I'll just say that, because if you're eating a lot of sugar, you probably do know that that's not what you should be doing. And if you're eating lots of processed food, that's food, with many ingredients on the packaging that you don't know what the heck they are, you probably already know that you shouldn't be eating that either, because that is extremely inflammatory.
Yeah, Dr. Joel Fuhrman calls it Frankenfood in his latest book called The Genocide, Fast Food Genocide.
So exactly. So you know that, don't eat sugar, don't eat the processed food, eat the whole food. But what you may not know is that you should really be eating fats. And that is something that's been so demonized. We've been terrified to eat them. But in fact, our brain craves them. Our brain is 70% fat. And fats, if we eat healthy fats, and I'll go into what that is, if we eat healthy fats, we're satiated. We don't crave the sugary foods. We don't get those cravings. Yeah. We don't get hungry. And our blood sugar stays stable. And we're getting...
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry about that, Peggy. But anyway, yes, we're going to continue about talking about this. I want to remind you that we're going to share with you how to sign up. Go to awakeningfromalzheimers.com. You also have an opportunity to win a free copy of Peggy's book, Awakening from Alzheimer's, How America's Most Innovative Doctors Are Reversing Alzheimer's, Dementia, and Memory Loss by calling or texting 407-373-5959. Be the third caller or texter to get your copy. And we're going to continue our conversation with Peggy when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Sorry about that, Peggy. What happened was that I believe Brian is turning up the volume. And, people think that fat is oils and fat is French fries and chips and all these things. Those are not healthy fats. So I want to make sure that we differentiate between the healthy fats and the unhealthy fats, right? There's different kinds of fats.
Let me tell you what the healthy fats are. And I'd like to take a minute to really go into coconut oil, because coconut oil is one of the simplest way you can help your loved one who has Alzheimer's. There's more elaborate ways to help, which we'll get into, but one of the simplest is to give your loved one coconut oil. And
how much coconut oil? And you know what? We need to have this conversation on the air too.
Oh, I thought we were on the air.
No. Right now we're not on the air. We are. This is the extra bonus conversation that people get to watch when they're on YouTube, Peggy. So yeah, coconut oil. I saw that. Here's another thing that I want to share is the pharmaceutical industry, how statins are affecting. Yeah, so I do want to talk about statins when
I would like to talk about that as well.
When we go on the air, and people with cholesterol issues. I mean, isn't it amazing? The moment we interfere, the body is so resilient. The body wants to heal, but then we do things to cause like a block in the system. It's like putting a dam.
Well, one doctor I spoke to, now one of the calls it a chemical straitjacket.
Oh, wow.
Good image. It's a good image.
It's a huge image. That's a good one. Now, when people sign up for this, and I've already gotten so many calls since we started, which is great. I'm glad that we are getting these calls. When people are listening to this, they don't want to let go of the foods that are comfortable. And so I have Dr. Joel Fuhrman, Dr. Neil Bernard, all these wonderful, the doctors from Forks. Have you seen the documentary Forks Over Knives?
No.
Oh my goodness. So you probably don't know Dr. Esselstyn. Do you know Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, Dr. Campbell? Okay. So that's your homework, Missy.
I got homework.
Yeah, write it down. Forks Over Knives.
Forks Over Knives. You got it.
It's choosing the fork over the being cut going under the knife.
Oh, wow.
And it's a great link for you when it comes to nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition is the key topic.
It is.
Or a key. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to this.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot.
Okay. How much time, Brian, do we have?
Let's go back to the coconut oil.
Yes, we will.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. I just wanted to know. I'm back on.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal that we learn from each other. Go through life with childlike wonder. Pretend that you don't know what you don't know, because really, you don't know what you don't know. So the moment you think you know it all, put a chalk line around you, baby, because you are dead. That is the last breath you take. I want to encourage you to go through life saying, you know what? I think I know this, but I'm going to consider perhaps a new truth. And when you start learning about it's almost frustrating that you believe a certain way and all of a sudden you wake up Like the people that thought the earth was flat. They thought the earth was flat for such a long time. And somewhere along the way, they said, will you consider that perhaps it's not flat? This is what we talk about on the show. There are people that still believe the earth is flat. So I want to challenge you to listen to a new truth. Today's topic is Alzheimer's, dementia, memory loss, and how we can awaken from this doom, this diagnosis that is just horrendous. And I want to encourage you so that you can continue to grow and learn with me to go to whenyouneedafriend.com and become a subscriber. Now, once you become a subscriber, wait for that confirmation email because it's a two-step process. Once you confirm, you'll get access to my Mind, Body, Spirit Positive Affirmation audio link and my 90-day challenge to self-love ebook. But please go there. I want to learn more about Alzheimer's, dementia, so I don't want to spend too much time. Go to whenyouneedafriend.com, like all my social media. All the information on this video, this recording will be on iTunes, Google Play Music, and iHeartRadio, but the video is going to be on YouTube. So find out the different ways by going to whenyouneedafriend.com. You can also call today, 407-373-5959, or text that same number, 407-373-5959, and get a free copy of Peggy's book. She put together all the information from the different doctors that she interviewed. It's called Awaken from Alzheimer's. And if you go to awakeningfromalzheimers.com, today is World's Alzheimer's Day, and there's going to be a 12-day free series that you can sign up for. Just go to awakeningfromalzheimers.com, and all that information will be on my website and my social media after the show. When you do that, you will get to learn a new truth. What will that truth mean for you today? Peggy Sarlin is here, and Peggy, I'm very grateful for you for being on the show to share, just like I do. I learned from all these teachers, and you learned from some great teachers, and you're here to share on this special edition of Thriving Thursday, how you've learned so much and want to share it from a mountaintop. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Oh, truly my pleasure, Lily.
So before we went on the break, we started talking about coconut oil. Now, in your book, you have some miracles that occurred from coconut oil. I'm a very healthy skeptic. And so tell us a little bit about coconut oil and why this is important.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that. It is very important, and I want to say that for those of you who are caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's, this is a simple remedy you can start doing. Give them 1 teaspoon in the morning. Let them go for several days with that and see how they adjust and how their tummy works with that. And if all is well, add on so that you're giving 3 teaspoons a day, and you're cooking, you're sauteing their eggs in coconut oil, and you're baking with coconut oil, and you're giving it as a constant flow. Why? That's your question. Why? What is it that coconut oil does? Your brain runs on glucose. That is the fuel that fuels your brain. And the problem is that as we get older, and as we get older, it's fair to say, it's a general statement, your brain cells have more difficulty absorbing the glucose. That's just kind of a general factor of aging. Brains that are dysfunctional, brains that with a dementia, are much more resistant to absorbing glucose. Therefore, things start going really wrong. Why? Not necessarily because something is inherently wrong with the brain cell, but because it's not getting fuel. It's just not getting the fuel.
That makes sense.
Therefore, these other vulnerabilities start happening, which manifests in Alzheimer's. In what that looks like anatomically is that there's plaque and there's these tangles, but the problem is that your brain needs a tremendous amount of fuel because it is the most metabolically active part of your body. Your brain weighs about 2 or 3 percent of your body weight, it uses up 20% of your energy. So it needs a tremendous amount of energy. If it's not absorbing glucose properly, there's one other way to do it, and that's to provide your brain with ketones. So that's the only other way to get it fuel. Guess what? Coconut oil contains ketones. So if you consistently give coconut oil and an extract of coconut oil as well, you can use called MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides oil. If you continually keep the brain stoked with that, you're providing fuel. It's just you're putting gas in the tank.
Very good. And I want to encourage people to listen, because I'm going to be listening tonight. What time is it tonight that this event starts, Peggy?
Okay, it's already started. If you sign up, you'll get a link. And the way it works is that there are 12 days of events, and each interview is posted for 24 hours. So you have a 24-hour chance to watch that interview. Please invite friends over who are interested. There are many groups that are hosting, viewing sessions with their friends at churches, etc. Share this information. It's available. Each link is up for 24 hours.
And they can watch it for free.
You can watch the whole thing for free. And then at the end, if at any time you can purchase it, where you'll get the book, the interviews, the transcripts, supplemental material.
Very good. Now, during the break, we were talking about the pharmaceutical company. And one of the things that I read last night, which made a lot of sense to me, was the drug called statins. Mm-hmm. The statin drugs that so many Americans are taking right now because we refuse to change the way we eat. Standard American Diet, Dr. Joel Fuhrman has been quoted on my show saying that Al-Qaeda couldn't have designed the Standard American Diet to kill us any better. So it's the Standard American Diet is not good for us. And so he prescribes a whole food, plant-based G-bombs is what he calls it. It's a nutritarian, nutrient-rich, nutrient-dense diet. And so statins, when your cholesterol is high, which the brain needs cholesterol.
The brain needs cholesterol. The brain is 70% fat.
And so with these statins and reducing the cholesterol, it creates these brain issues as well. So can you share a little bit about that?
Well, that is a problem. And not only with statins, there are many medications that have as a side effect the possibility of impacting memory and cognitive function. Specifically with statins, I agree with you. Your best approach is a lifestyle modification, and we can talk about that. But if you work with your doctor and this is absolutely what he or she insists upon, you should know that if you're taking a statin, it is really important to also take a supplement called coenzyme Q10. And I recommend, not me, I don't recommend it.
We're not the experts. We're just sharing what we've learned from the experts.
Yes, I am not a doctor, so let me take back that wording. Many of the doctors, I would say virtually all of the doctors, is pretty much unanimous that CoQ10 is a phenomenally effective supplement to take on a regular basis for cognitive health. And it comes in, there's even a better form as you get older to absorb called ubiquinol. Mm-hmm. So CoQ10 in the form of ubiquinol. If you're looking to have a kind of a daily supplement regimen for your brain and overall health, I would say CoQ10 should be right at the top of the list, and certainly if you're on a statin, because the statin leaches things that CoQ10 puts back.
Well, one of the things that I read was that they recommend red yeast rice as one of the supplements instead of taking a statin that does not remove that fat or whatever the statins are taking away from the brain. The red yeast rice does not. And so I just want to plant the seed that there are other things other than pharmacological trials, or there's other supplements. And so when I was looking at the different supplements that we can take if we're concerned about memory loss or anything, one of them that just struck out. So there was one that's called Blueness. The other one was Alpha GPC, Lion's Mane, that That I am obsessed with right now. I've got to learn a little bit more about that one. Then Pycnogenol, which we've talked about Pycnogenol on the show. I texted someone and I'm like, can you believe this? Pycnogenol is being used for Alzheimer's? Oh my goodness. And testosterone. So those were some of the supplements that I read in one of the doctor's prescriptions that he does. But we're going to continue our conversation with Peggy Sarlin of Awakening from Alzheimer's. So keep calling 407-373-5959 if you want your free copy of the book. And we're going to continue our conversation worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Can you believe it, Peggy? We only have one more segment left and we're done. I'm going to keep the conversation rolling because when I read about lion's mane, I know mushrooms are important. That's one of with Dr. Furman, he talks about G-bombs, greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. Those are very important. Every day we need to take those. And so mushrooms need to be cooked. And so when I started looking at this lion's mane, I thought, medicinal mushrooms that work with nerve growth factors. So do you take that?
I don't take it. I have my own little, there's so many stuff.
I know every single one of them. It's like I was looking at the outline that you sent me that they sent me. I was looking at the outline. Every single one of these doctors that you interviewed has a different protocol.
Yeah.
How do you know what's best for you?
I think the best thing is to find a doctor who's sympathetic to working with you this way and to have them really fine-tune things for you. It's a little bit guesswork, but there are some that are universal. And I would say maybe we can talk about those. I want to go back and name for them the healthy oils, not just coconut oil, so they know and they can start.
Sure.
Back to the topic of eating with a goodly amount of healthy oils, because that's so key and it's confusing to people. So just.
I mean, but are you cooking with oils? Because there are many doctors that say that when you cook with oil, it changes its component, it changes its chemical. So what are you talking about?
It has to do with how high you use the heat. If the heat is lower, it's okay for coconut oil and olive oil.
But most people fry the heck out of their food.
Yeah, the heat should be lower, and that will keep the nutrients in there, and will keep it from changing its chemical composition.
Yeah, well, that's something that you have to be very specific.
Yeah, it has to do with the heat. But anyway, yeah, the whole topic of oils is just so. You and I could talk for hours on this.
I know. And so here's the thing with oils. With the doctors that I've interviewed, and I want to encourage you to watch the documentary Forks Over Knives. What they're saying is get the fats from the actual whole food. So if you want coconut, eat the whole coconut. If you want avocado oil, instead of the avocado oil, have the whole oil. Olives, eat the olive. The entire food will give you the same, and you're not cooking the oil. Do you know anything? Have you spoken to any of your doctors about that?
I would not suggest attempting to get the adequate amount of ketones from eating a whole coconut. You can't do it. You need to get the coconut oil in order to get sufficient ketones. And in fact, we can talk more about my interview with Dr. Mary Newport, because she's an expert in how to work it into your.
How long did it take you to interview all these doctors?
Oh, it was so intense.
Oh, here we go. This is our last dance.
You can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Okay, you heard that. 407-373-5959. If you want a free copy of the book, Awakening from Alzheimer's, you be the third caller or texter to call or text 407-373-5959. That's 407-373-5959. I was so excited yesterday. One of the viewers from YouTube called because they wanted a copy of the book from yesterday from Dr. Furman, and here we go. Here goes the phone. Keep calling and texting. You just don't know when that opportunity. And they said, I know it's been after the show, but I wanted to see if I can win a copy of the book. And you know what? We got them a copy of the book. You just got to try. You got to try. Try something new. You never know. Because if you don't do it, you don't get anything. If you don't change, change does not happen. And so today we are talking about Alzheimer's and awakening from Alzheimer's, and the 12-day workshop, or whatever. What do you want to call it? It's a free seminar.
It's an event.
It's an event.
It's a big event, and the people who've used this information, we have really had the opportunity to transform their lives. The information here really you can't find elsewhere, and it is so transformative. It's so hopeful. Let me, if I may, let me just make a big picture.
Well, before you could, I didn't say your name, Peggy. So this is Peggy Sarlin. Peggy is the host of this 12-day series online of Awakening from Alzheimer's. She went around, just like I do, interviewing doctors and learning from the experts. We're not the experts, and I want to claim that right now. I am not an expert. I'm the friend. And so is Peggy. Peggy has gone around interviewing all these doctors to learn a new truth about Alzheimer's, dementia, and memory loss. So go ahead, Peggy. So you're the host of this, so I'll let you, I'll turn it to you.
Well, let me give you the overall picture. It's a little bit more elaborate, and then we can go back. We were talking about coconut oil. I'd like to return to that topic of healthy oils, which is a little bit simpler to address. The overall understanding of if I could sum it up from these doctors, is that this is a very complex disease, and there are many factors causing it. And what you need to do in order to successfully address this is find a doctor who understands this, who will work with you and look at all the factors. And let me just toss out some of them. Dr. Bredesen, who is really kind of the seminal figure in this field right now, and who's one of the doctors I interview, has identified 36 biomarkers that contribute to the development and progression of Alzheimer's. And so what we're looking at, do you have inflammation from your poor food choices? Do you have sleep apnea that has not been treated? What is your hormone level? Are your hormones not optimized? Do you not have sufficient testosterone or other hormones? Do you have inflammatory markers? Do you have, let's see, vitamin D is very important. Vitamin D is crucial. It's certainly a doctor who would look at your status for vitamin D, for the B vitamins. Do you have sufficient magnesium? Do you have sufficient zinc? These are all different contributing factors. Another very important one, have you had exposure to mold? Are you dealing with a toxic exposure? Have you had Lyme disease? It has not been, that Lyme, unfortunately, because we're living in an epidemic, Lyme disease, unfortunately, leads to cognitive dysfunction. You need to get that treated. Do you have a sinus infection that hasn't been adequately treated? So we could go on and on. The point is it may not be one thing. It may be many things.
What I'm hearing you say is one size does not fit all. Doing one thing is not going to end up, because people will try one thing. Oh, I tried a supplement, for example, and it didn't change anything. Well, they continued eating their yo-hos, their ding-dongs, and drinking their coffee and smoking, and they think that taking a pill is going to solve the issue. And what I'm hearing you say is that it's a multifunctional, multidimensional look at your life.
Yes, what Dr. Bredesen calls his protocol. It's a program. There isn't a magic pill. It's a program. But the latest, the state-of-the-art information is that your particular situation can be so targeted specifically for you. This is what you need. Your vitamin D is low and you need exactly this much per day. Your sleep problem is you don't have apnea, but you have some other problem. You have another problem which we can resolve this way. Maybe you're not getting enough sunlight. You have to be outside in the morning sunshine in order to set your inner clock so that you sleep better at night. We didn't even talk about exercise. Exercise is key.
Okay.
But so that's kind of the bigger picture. The smaller, easier way, let's get back to oils, adding more healthy fats into your diet. And that we talked about coconut oil. Coconut oil provides your brain with ketones, and ketones are an alternate fuel for your brain, which constantly needs to be refueled. Think of it, the tank is constantly getting out of gas because it's using up 20% of your energy. You want to eat in a way that's going to provide your body with ketones and healthy oils. Some other healthy fats are olive oil, avocados, the smash fish. Smash is salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. Those all will have healthy oils for you. Seeds and nuts are good sources. So we've been terrified to eat these. We've been terrified.
Yeah, well, because of the way the system and the food industry, Peggy, are preparing these foods. That's what we need to make sure that when we're having this, that it's really what it is. It's not fried to that next level of we don't even recognize it as food anymore.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned fried, because the issue of how do you cook with these foods? How do you use them? One of the interviews I think people will find really just absolutely amazing on so many levels is with Dr. Mary Newport. And she's really the expert in how you get these ketones into your diet in a practical way. How do you cook with it? How do you bake with it? How do you keep incorporating it into your shakes? And she used it on her husband, Steve, who had early Alzheimer's and was deteriorating so fast. And she brought him back to such a higher level through the use of coconut oil. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And we're gonna meet her in the next 12 days. I want to also say, one of the things that in my research that I discovered is that many of these cures, any of these alternative ways to heal also for Alzheimer also helps people with Parkinson.
Yes, well, that's a very good point. Parkinson's and Alzheimer's have similarities. They're both neurodegenerative diseases. They begin in different places in the brain. Alzheimer's begins in the hippocampus, but eventually as things deteriorate, they get more global. So in fact, these, and as I mentioned, my husband has a stroke, and I use many of these supplements and remedies for him. The brain is the brain, the brain needs fuel. The brain needs you to provide it with good sleep, which is deep sleep. There's an interview with a sleep expert. I think you'll find that Dr. Michael this very powerful information.
Well, let's take a moment. It's a free 12-day online video series. It's called Awakening from Alzheimer's. You be the third caller or texter. You never know if there's an extra book somewhere along the way. 407-373-5959. Let's register. I am going to be there tonight. Again, we can do it. We can watch it any time, right? It's going to be on for 24 hours.
Right. Each day. So you go to awakeningfromalzheimers.com and you click at that box on the top where it says something about there's hope, and you can register, and every day you'll get a link, and that link will lead you to it. You can watch it at any time in those 24 hours, and it's free.
Okay. Well, I am so grateful to you, Peggy. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing what you've learned from the experts.
It's been my great pleasure, and I hope the information is useful.
Thank you. And to you, my listening friend, it's up to you. You don't expect to put sand in your gas tank and expect your car to run. So too, the body deserves what it needs. Please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Thank you, Peggy. I'm going to keep the camera rolling. We've had so many calls today. It's really good. And those of you who are watching us on YouTube as well, I hope that you find this information more than just anecdotal. This is something that we need to really look and discover if this is a new truth that we are being kept from. The website is awakeningfromalzheimers.com, awakeningfromalzheimers.com, and I'm sure that we've got the book is already taken over here. But Peggy, thank you so much for being on the show today. Is there anything that you want to say as an extra bonus to people who are watching on YouTube?
Yeah, the main thing I want to say is that there's hope. We're living in the dawn of the age of treatable Alzheimer's, and the age of the first survivors of Alzheimer's. And the word that they use when they come back is awakening. They feel they've awakened. So this is real.
Very good. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the people I love the most awaken as well. So thank you, Peggy, for your information today. And I look forward to learning more about your program.
My pleasure, Lillian.
Thank you.